Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. I owe Dr. Sebi a big apology. Owe him a big apology. Malcolm X says, not all of us gain understanding at the same time. And what he was saying when he was saying that is that, you don't look down on somebody else because they don't know something. But the funky thing about it is that sometimes when people don't know something, they are vehemently defending the position of ignorance that they have, or the position of misinformation, or the position of prejudice or whatever. Like, they don't know, but they're strongly defending their position. So that's why I have to apologize, because when I heard about all this alkaline food and alkaline diet stuff, I'm like, oh man, this is more sales pitch. This is more mumbo jumbo, woo-woo, hippie stuff that doesn't really have any scientific basis. But, so, that's why I gotta apologize to Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi's not here anyway, but he's not here, but just to the whole movement towards alkaline diets, I have to apologize, because I'm just gaining understanding. So from my own, putting together things and thinking about apple cider vinegar, and I just posted a episode saying that I don't think apple cider vinegar is all that great. In the future I might learn otherwise, but right now I don't think it's all that great. But having an acidic, if your internals are acidic, that's not a good thing. There's external parts of our body that are acidic. I think our skin is like 5 pH and our hair is like 4 pH, but they're not water soluble. To determine pH, something has to be water soluble. But what I was saying in my post about apple cider vinegar is that, it doesn't make sense to swallow acid when your body eliminates acid through urine. Your body doesn't like lactic acid too much when you overwork your muscles. What else? Your body doesn't like acid in your mouth because it'll give you cavities. And your body uses mucus to protect itself from acid in your gut. So a lot of times it would seem that, if we go into Dr. Sebi's logic, which is mucus is the cause of all illness, I would say more that mucus is an immune response to some kind of attack, or some kind of acidic condition, because mucus, like I said, mucus insulates or protects our gut from the stomach acid. And that's the only place where you really need a bunch of acid in the stomach. There's an acidic condition in the birth canal also, and that's to protect it, from external stuff, and so overall, acid is not a good thing, in an acidic environment. And acid doesn't have to be like a strong acid, like hydrochloric acid, or something like that. Acid could be something that's below pH 7. Now our blood is about 7.4 pH, and purely distilled water is at 7. That's our reference point that we use. That's the reference point that scientists use to determine if something is alkaline or acidic. So, so when I think about it, even a condition called ketoacidosis, where people with diabetes, they reach a level where, they're about to pass out because their blood sugar is so high, their blood is acidic, and, the kidneys aren't operating right, the liver's not operating right, the pancreas isn't operating right, and all because they can't process sugar properly. between the insulin not being absorbed into the muscle, between the pancreas overproducing, between the liver not being able to process all this fat and all this glucose and all this energy that's being put into the body, it would indicate that sugar is no good. Sugar creates an acidic condition in your body. I definitely can tell when I'm drinking some, Pepsi or Coca-Cola or whatever. I feel immediately congested. You know what I mean? The acid in our gut is there to dissolve proteins, supposedly. So if we have excess acid, the body's gonna, and then going on, changing horses again. If we have an extra acidic gut, how is our body gonna neutralize that? It's gonna have to draw on our salts. It's gonna have to draw on our alkaline solutions in our body to try to neutralize that acid and bring the pH up. So in the process of bringing that pH up, it's going to deprive other parts of the salts and the electrolytes that make the condition, make the body's internal fluids alkaline. And I'm not being totally accurate with everything, you know what I mean? But overall, what I'm saying is that we got to stay away from the sugars. We already know that. But the reason why the sugars are so bad, they make your body acidic, cause inflammation, which Dr. Sebi is always talking about, inflammation and mucus. And he talks about acidic foods and he talks about alkaline foods, right? And then he also talks about foods that are not, that are genetically modified. So he's not with the genetically modified foods. He's not with alkaline foods. And another thing is that meat, supposedly also creates a acidic condition in the body. Consuming and digesting meat creates an acidic condition in the body. I don't know how exactly. Maybe it's because the stomach is releasing more acid in order to digest the meat. I'm not sure. But he was right. Dr. Sebi was right about the mucus. He was right about the pH. If our blood is 7.4, it would make sense that in order to not put so much stress on the body, we should keep it around that number. And it kind of explains why you have companies like Alkaline Water or Smart Water or so-and-so Gatorade or whatever. They're selling solutions that have a high pH, for the most part. They're selling solutions that are around 8 pH. I don't think that going too high is good either. Going too low is not good, and going too high is not good. But the phosphoric acid, for instance, that's in Coca-Cola, phosphoric acid, you can clean rust off of things with it. So I pretty much think that's a pretty aggressive pH. But I'm not looking it up right now. I'm driving. But I was, so that's not good. I've spoken about acid before, but I never really got it, but it was more in regards to pH balancing hair products. And your hair, which is not a water-soluble thing, so its pH is only assumed for the most part, or your scalp or your skin is around 5 pH, which is acidic, but they're not water-soluble things per se, but just plain old water can break down your skin anyway. Now, also, when we talk about fatty acids, why do they even call them fatty acids, right? Now, the acid in your stomach can't break down oils. These cooking oils and all that stuff that we eat, these are fatty acids. These cooking oils, I just took it. Anyway, these cooking oils that we eat. I had Chipotle yesterday. My underarms are kicking. I had some oniony Chipotle yesterday. It passed right through me, I guess. So these what was I saying? Oh yeah, these cooking oils that we're consuming. Our body isn't, from my limited understanding, the stomach acid isn't gonna break those down. Acid doesn't really act on those oils. What acts on them is our bases. You know, our alkaline solutions can act on a fatty acid and break it down. So even when we're thinking about exercising and burning fat, you know, that fat has to come in contact with an alkaline environment. Now, when it comes to, I'm gonna be wrong about this, but this is the philosophy I'm gonna push. But don't go by what I'm saying right now. So the lactic acid, in my opinion, aids in breaking down the proteins when we're exercising to tear the muscles, so that later on, when we're in our alkaline state, those muscles can rebuild during our rest times. After that, lactic acid has been eliminated and flushed out of our system. So hydration is very important in order to move these chemicals all around the body. Hydration is very important. But also the proper hydration. Now people are, communicating that, we're understanding that these products they're selling, these alkaline waters and whatever, they're supposedly better hydration, even the Gatorades. Now Gatorade contains a lot of ingredients that I can't agree with, not even the way that they put the solution in the bottle, and it's not even a natural thing. I believe that we should try to get everything that we need from real food. Everybody's paying attention, saying eat real food means not processed food, not stuff that comes in a box or stuff that comes in some kind of powdered form or whatever the case may be. But or in a can, I'm sorry, in a box or a can, those things last forever. It's possible that those things are no good for you. Anyhow, so in my opinion, building muscle, it's important to get those bases running past the fat. To burn fat, you need to be in an alkaline state, in my opinion. To build muscle, you also gotta have momentary acidic state in your muscle via the lactic acid to help tear the muscle, and then that protein is able to grow back in an alkaline state. So you kind of flip between destruction and rebuilding. The acidic state is a destructive state. Ketoacidosis is a destructive state. Will tear your body up. People who are eating badly, including myself, eating a lot of sugar, we're tearing our bodies up. We're building a whole bunch of energy, building up, glucose, and the body's taking that and turning it into fat and making your liver all fat and stuff like that. Your liver can't process all of those things. We're doing that to ourselves with all the sugars, right? And additionally, we're eating acidic things like these Coca-Colas and these Pepsi-Colas, even carbonated drinks, just carbonated water in itself. These carbonated drinks in themselves are acidic, from my limited understanding, when you digest it, So carbonated drinks are no good. Sugary foods are no good. Food with preservatives are no good. But overall, eating acidic foods, like I just asked Copilot, what are some alkaline foods? And all the foods that it listed as alkaline are those good foods that we know that have the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, iron, stuff like that in them, things that are more associated with, in my opinion, with bases, right? And let me see if maybe I'm parked right now, so let me see if I can find some of these quickly. I'm at my destination. So let's see here if I can find them. Let's see here. Let's open up Copilot. Let's go back. It says ketogenic. Let's see. No. That was not today. That was a new conversation. Let's see. Let's see. Because sometimes I have silly conversations with it, and then sometimes I have sensible conversations with Copilot. No, I don't see here where we're talking about. I don't see here where we're talking about the. I don't see here where we're talking about the. I don't see here where we're talking about the. Oh my gosh. All right, let me ask you right now, while we're here, alkaline foods. Please list. And one of them is broccoli. I already know what from the last time Copilot told me. Spinach, kale, broccoli, cucumber, celery, zucchini, bell peppers, Swiss chard. So all these great things that we know already, which is like spinach, kale, broccoli, bell peppers. I know those are already known to be good. Fruits, avocados, lemons, watermelon, mangoes, papayas, blueberries, apples, bananas. Now you see all the woo-woo and hotep people that I was doubting, talking about watermelons and talking about papayas. Papayas are good for fighting off parasites, and watermelon is supposedly good for all kind of micronutrients. I believe that bananas are good for the heart. Apples are good for a bunch of things. They're good for I don't know exactly. I remember berries. It says berries here also, which berries we know are good for the brain and good great antioxidants. And then it says nuts here: almonds, chia seeds, flaxseed, and pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed is known to fight parasites. Flaxseed is known to be good source of omega-3. Chia seeds, I don't know about chia seeds. Almonds are good for a whole bunch of stuff. And it says grains and legumes: quinoa, lentils, millet. Well, I like lentils. Quinoa I don't like so much, but other alkaline foods: coconut water, herbal teas like chamomile or ginger, alkaline water, olive oil. These are all things that we know to be good. Olive oil, everybody's talking about olive oil. Coconut water, a lot of people talking about coconut water. Quinoa, a lot of people talking about quinoa. Flax seeds, a lot of people talking about flax seeds. Pumpkin seeds, good source of zinc. Everybody's talking about that. Watermelons and papayas, everybody's talking about that. Avocados, everybody's talking about that. Spinach, kale, broccoli, and bell peppers, everybody's talking about that. So we can see that a whole alkaline diet approach and the alkaline foods push is legitimate. You know, it's a legit thing, you know, and I feel so, you know, I feel like one of the doubters, the doubting Thomases, the heathens, you know what I mean, that was going against sound information. So now that I know, you know, we got to know better and do better, but these foods that we've known to have great health benefits are also alkaline foods. They don't cause your body to go into an acidic state, from my understanding. So you might want to implement that into your considerations and stay away from the sugars and the processed foods and the simple carbohydrates, you know, as much as possible, and get your nutrients and your micronutrients from those foods and fruits that Copilot listed for me. And yeah, you know, you learn something new all the time. You know, it's good to keep an open mind. You it's good to keep an open mind. You can never, not never, but you gotta do the research. If you're not gonna trust everybody, you're not gonna trust everything, but do your own research. And now I'm understanding. It's even like religion. Like a lot of things I'm just understanding now. Before I was just listening to it and just saying, yeah, sure. But now I see, well, it makes sense. Anyhow, I'm gonna be speaking in circles that I've already explained what I want to say. Alkaline diet is a real legit thing, and alkaline foods is a legit thing, and your internal organs like to be in an alkaline state. Even your muscles, to maintain your muscles and all of that, you want to be in an alkaline state. To burn fat, you want to be in an alkaline state, because acid doesn't destroy fatty acids. Bases destroy and break down fatty acids. So you want to be in an alkaline state also for that. If you want to lose weight, you want to be in an alkaline state. If you want to build muscle, you want to be in an alkaline state. If you want to, prevent the depletion of your nutrients, you want to be in an alkaline state. Or at least you want to maintain your blood pH level of, the 7.4, and maintain a good blood level range. One way that you can check your pH in your body is by urinalysis, or you can buy one of these urinalysis kits on Amazon and urinate on it, and then look at it and see what the color code says. But you don't gotta freak out and worry yourself. Listen, you've been living so long and you're still alive, right? You're okay, right? But for the most part, you want to take care of yourself. I already spoke about the big C word and how there's 3 things that cause the big C, and that's inflammation, radiation, and oxidative stress. I also spoke about how germs can trigger the big C, and germs, like I said, the bacteria in your mouth love sugary environments. That's how they create the cavities and stuff like that. So anyhow, maybe that'll trigger you to go do your own research and find out what you want to find out about that. But hey, thanks for listening. Bye.